Mae Krier, an original Rosie the Riveter, was born in 1926 in North Dakota. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Mae, her sister, and a friend headed to Seattle, Washington, where Mae became a riveter for Boeing, making B-17s and B-29s for 92 cents an hour. She met Norm, her late husband, a sailor, on the dance floor in 1944. Norm was transferred to Pasco, Washington, and in April 1945 they married. She left Boeing to work for the Army engineers with Italian prisoners of war in Pasco at 83 cents an hour. Eventually, they settled in Pennsylvania, where they raised their two children and where Mae still resides today. Mae joined other Rosies to get the first National Rosie the Riveter Day in 2017 and the Congressional Gold Medal for Rosie in 2020. During the pandemic, through her Facebook page Honor Rosie, Mae, with the help of companies, groups, and individuals, made and mailed well over 6,000 red and white polka dot face masks. 5,000 masks went directly to her Honor Rosie followers. In 2022, her face mask and bandana were worn by Rosie the Rocketeer in the commander's seat of the Boeing Starliner, which traveled to the International Space Station and back. In April of 2024, Mae accepted the Congressional Gold Medal on behalf of all Rosies. It was a great honor to her. Mae continues to travel the world to promote Rosie the Riveter's legacy, and at 99 years, Mae still cuts her own grass. Now it's time to join Breaking Barriers with Mae Krier. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Deb. I'm Brandy. How are you,
Happy
ladies?
holidays.
You two are still flying high from your big weekend down in Tampa.
Oh, I certainly am. It's such a surprise. I just don't know how they surprised me so. They've been working a year. All of you have been working for a year, I understand, to put that together. And I was absolutely stunned when I stood up there and watched that line of women they had the pictures with the backs turned. I thought, wonder what's going on there. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I just was stunned, absolutely stunned. What a nice thing. Thank all of you.
Brandy, what did you think? You were there.
It-
You thank you for going live so we could share in that moment.
I never mind going on missions for Mae and Miss Deb, Colonel Deb. It was amazing to meet the illustrator, to see Dave Winters and his lovely wife again, to meet the gentleman that actually brought a special part of Barnwood from Normandy actually here so we could actually make a special blade. I worked with the Fortune Fire champion, Tobin Nieto, and he created an amazing blade, which I think was longer than Mae when she held it. But it was amazing to support, and it was so empowering, and it meant so much to the ladies that came with me to meet Mae. And it was amazing. Truly beautiful dinner.
Isn't that an amazing group of women? How they remind me of World War II, where we all worked together. There was no animosity, and you get that same feeling from that group of women down there in Tampa.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think, this episode is going to be all about the book because our followers on Facebook and Mae's fans all over the world have been very energized by the book. So we'll start this episode with a little explanation. So Mae's book, We Can Do It, can be purchased on Amazon, or you can contact your local bookstore and ask them to order it. So this is how it works. Amazon takes a percentage for printing and shipping and makes it available, I believe, in at least 10 countries, other countries right now. The rest of the money is split evenly between two of Mae's favorite nonprofits, Dave Winters' Black Dagger Military Hunt Club, which supports veterans, and Raya Kenny's World War II Memorial Foundation, which is raising funds to build a memorial in Washington, D.C. to honor all the women who worked on the home front during World War II. Mae loves both of these charities. She's really nonprofits. She's really thrilled that she's able to raise funds in this way. So, Brandy, can you play our video for us?
Yep, absolutely. Let's go ahead and play that amazing video now.
And this is a message for you, Mae.
Hi, State Representative Melissa Schusterman here, serving Chester County. And let me tell you, Mae, I want to send a large hug and congratulations to you on your life story. This is fantastic. You are the reason why I don't just get out of bed. I jump out of bed every day to get started to serve the people right here in Pennsylvania. And your story is so inspirational. I'm going to make sure all of the libraries within my district receive several copies of your book. And I just want to say congratulations. You're in print and you're looking good. And I'm sending all my love.
And that was
wonderful. And she's so amazing. She's so good with us, the women and the veterans. And she's so good with, as a woman. She's wonderful. She belongs in Washington.
Well, please. So anyway, Melissa Schusterman is one of the people who did the acknowledgement in the back of the book. And Congresswoman Spears is now a supervisor in, I think it's San Bernardino County, in California. And she is very sorry. She was so busy. She wasn't able to do a video for you, Mae, but she sends her love. And she's got a copy of the book, but you'll be signing a copy for her too. So we'll take care of that.
She's an amazing woman. Every time I went to Washington, if she was available, she would see me, whether it was with the military or whatever, and she was always so good. And she's just an amazing woman. It's a shame that she left Washington. We need like her.
She shows that there's life after Congress. So she's doing great work.
It's important.
That's
take some news off of you.
So, Brandy, would you bring on Dave and Maria, and we'll interview those two.
All righty.
Thank you.
Looks like we had a book purchase just now.
Oh, how do you know?
They told me.
Oh, okay.
Let me go ahead and bring them on now.
Okay. Mae, it's so nice this wasn't a surprise. Okay.
Well, I wasn't sure what you guys are pulling up now.
Hello, Dave and Maria.
Good evening.
Thanks for coming on.
David.
Thanks for having me.
Dave.
Maria, I just think it's beautiful what you've done. The first I met you in Washington and down in Tampa, and what you did with that book is just amazing.
Maria is the illustrator of We Can Do It.
Oh, yeah.
And you did a great job. Thank you.
Dave, I was interesting to read your story, the writer's story. I didn't know that much about you. You're a pretty brave man.
Not as brave as you women that went into the workforce and did riveted and put up with us men.
But you had tragedy along the way. That's so sad, But what you do for the veterans is outstanding. I wish that people would read more about what you do, not just the men, but the women too. You honor all of us alike, and I just think that's so outstanding.
So, Dave, this book was your idea. So tell us a little bit about that, and then tell us how you know Maria and how you got her into doing the illustrations.
Well, we had Mae down here the first time right before the pandemic, before COVID hit in 2019. 2019. And so we met her and had a lot of fun. Then we had her back down again. And then I had asked her family, I think Lori, I said, did you guys ever think about writing a book about her? And they said, we have talked about it. They did a little bit of history and had some stuff written down. And I said, I'll write the book. And once those words come out of your mouth, you have a commitment. So I, thought about how to do it and everything else. And I have a good friend in the roofing industry, and I told him about my project, the book. And he said, well, I have a wonderful illustrator that I know. Her name is Maria. I said, well, can you do an introduction? So I met with Maria, and then I said, I kind of gave her thoughts and ideas, and I was working with you, Deb, to get different pictures and different highlights. It's not her whole life, but it's significant highlights throughout her life. It talks about her journey and tells her journey. But I want to share just one illustration. So the first illustration was you receiving the Congressional Gold Medal, and I had Maria do it, and I sent it to your granddaughter Lori Netlin, and she came back and she says it's too hippie, and she spelled it HIPPIE, and I thought she was talking. Well, she does have a vest. It looks a little 70s. She said no, her hips are too big. You need to put her down, or she won't be happy. So I thought that was pretty funny. So I said, Maria, we're gonna have to do another illustration, and we can't have those hips. So as a guy, you don't think about that, but I'm like, then I was very cognizant of every illustration, how they looked and everything else, only to display you in the most beautiful way as you are, Mae.
Thank you. That was a laugh. I got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Maria, how did you get into illustrating?
Me? Well,
Yeah.
I was in the corporate world for a very long time, and I dropped out of that. And I thought, what am I going to do now? So I knew how to draw. So I thought, well, let me see if I can do something with this. And that's kind of how I birthed it. It just happened organically, and it's been fun. I've been having a really good time. And it was so fun meeting Dave, and Dave told me the story of what he was wanting to do. And I said, yeah, I'm in. And in my defense, with that one illustration of the hippie Mae, he sends me a picture, and it's just really basically of your torso on up. And I thought, oh, I'm going to give her a nice little hourglass shape. No.
Maria, you're not only talented, you're beautiful. When I seen you there, and just thought, what a pretty lady.
Oh, thank you, Mae. Well, you were the belle of the ball.
I'll tell you, I was stunned. I was stunned. And I look at some of the pictures, and I look like I don't know where I'm at. You're amazed, and like I said, I'm coming off my high now, but usually takes about 3 days or something like this, and it was outstanding. And I just hope that we can do, like I said when I spoke, I want to live to see this memorial complete. I said to Rail, I want it done before I meet my maker.
We will.
So, Maria, two of them that really stuck out for me was the one of V-Day, which is so much activity going on with the military coming back, and also the plane, because we don't really have a picture of Mae in a plane. Yeah, exactly. We don't have that. So how did you think of those?
Well, Dave sent me some pictures, and I went online and I looked at some photos of some of the photographs from that time and what the women were doing and stuff. And I just kind of incorporated all that. And I kind of incorporated Mae in there and just made it as colorful as possible, because I'm sure it wasn't as colorful as it looks. But and the same thing with the ticker tape parade. They honored the men, and really it should have been the women there as well. So
yeah, we remember those days so well, that when the war was over. All of us who experienced that remember the Pearl Harbor and remember the day the war was over.
Yeah, big parades for them, but not for you. And all you wonderful ladies just held it all together for the U.S. So it's a lot. We admire you for that.
Well, it's a funny one. When I was signing the books, one man come up and talk to me, and I forget what he said to me. I said, "Well, this had to be done."
Yeah.
and this is true.
And there's another one that Dave, before we came out, we talked about this. When the Congressional Gold Medal was being designed, Mae and another Rosie made sure that every nationality of women were acknowledged on the coin, and you did the same here.
Oh yeah, on the cover. Yeah.
And that's just wonderful, because as Mae always says, it wasn't just the white women who did the work.
Right. Well, Dave wanted to make sure that, you know, we incorporated as many different ethnic backgrounds as possible. So, you know, we worked on that, and we did that, definitely.
When Gregory Cook sees that, he's the one that did the Invisible Warriors, and he does a lot with the colored ladies. And the lady that was in the Capitol with me, that they showed her, the colored lady, she's their poster girl, but she's passed on now. But Gregory, I know he'll like what you put there. I carry that poster with me when I travel, you know, around the different programs. And I think it's very important because, like I said, it wasn't my job or your job. It wasn't black, white, or Spanish. It was
right.
All, you know.
All of you did, yes.
Absolutely.
Well, same with the age. There was no age limit. You see, I was 17. Some of them were grandmothers. Some of them were really along in age, but they needed us. It didn't matter. We had the job to do, and we did it.
Wow.
Well, you did a great job, and thank you. The illustrations are just perfect for the book. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Deb tells me that every time she talks to me, she hears another story. And I said, well, I got almost 100 years of stories in this old body. One I have to tell is a little on the, it might be the best, not the best language, but I'm going to tell it anyway because it's real life.
Okay.
They showed the picture. Now, this one Deb never knew about, of us when we picked beets. Well, it was during the Great Depression, and we didn't have work. We didn't have anything. My father was offered a job in Montana to pick beets for the summer. And of course we did. We went because it was very important. And when we were out my mother and father would be out in the field, and we had a younger sister, very young. And when the inspector came around, he asked where my mother and father was. And my baby, she was packing a baby, she says, he's out picking those sons of bitchin' beets.
I never heard that story.
I'm saying that more than once. But you know, it was made a living. When we came home, we had enough money for my mother to buy a small, I think she bought a small cafe. And my father went into the grain elevator, where he eventually managed grain elevators the rest of his life. So it was a turning point for us. But we always loved that. We always tell that story. She's just a little tiny thing when she said that.
That's awesome.
I've never heard that story. They told me they'd never heard that one.
My favorite drawing, I think, was the one where you were all gathered around the potbelly stove.
Oh, that was every night. I mean, that was our only entertainment. And my father was such a good storyteller, and he's such a happy-go-lucky man. I loved that. And it was so interesting because we had nothing to, no books or nothing.
Right.
And he used to tell us stories. We loved him. And he'd tell us mostly about the moon and the stars, things that I never, and I guess that's why I like the astronauts. I liked our space programs and all. And I remember it so well. When they opened that capsule, when my bandana was up in space, they opened the capsule and I could read what I wrote on it. It was to the moon and the stars. All I could think of was I wish my father could see that.
Oh. Well, we're all proud of you, Mae.
We're
all proud of you.
Well, you know, I didn't. That's our space. That's when we were up in space. But you know, I didn't do anything different than any other women or any men too. It's just that after the war, I just thought that was a disgrace, not a disgrace, but I was just angry because they didn't honor us. There was nothing. The girls, when the war was over, like I've said, the men had parades and flying flags, and Rosie just got a pink slip when the war was over. No mention of what we had done. And as the time went on, that just angered me more and more. And I think it's close to 50 years ago when I first started. Had no idea where I was going with it. I just knew it had to be done. And like I said, along the way, I learned as much as anybody else because I had no idea how to write to congressmen. I think I have to laugh. I'd hate to read some of the letters I wrote. But I got results, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you, Maria. Dave, you two are going to go, but Dave, you're going to come back with Raya, and you're both going to tell us about your foundations. So,
Deb, can I say one thing?
Sure.
It's the elephant in the room. Why is a guy writing a book about Mae Krier? Why is a man doing it? Well, let me tell you why. Is because Mae has inspired me so much. When you meet someone who's 90, I first met her when she was 95, I think, 94, 95, and she just doesn't give up. She's just an inspiration, and it's my way of saying thank you for all that you did and the recognition that you did not get when the war was over. So I am recognizing you on behalf of all the men who really need to recognize you for the recognition you didn't get after the war.
But
So I salute you, Mae.
But Dave, don't forget, I couldn't have done it if it wasn't for people like you and Maria and Deb. I couldn't have done it alone, So we're all in this together, whether we know it or not. It's just a wonderful thing when we can all get along and do things. But like I said, Dave, I'm just amazed because, the men resented the women for a long time. They didn't give me any credit. I wasn't included in any groups when I traveled with the veterans. And now they treat me like a veteran, even though I'm not one. But now they're getting more, they're accepting me. Let's put it like that.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you both. Dave, you'll be coming back. Maria, it's so great to meet you.
Thank
you for
Maria.
your talent.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we'll get Raya and Kate. There's Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hi. How's it going, Mae?
Good. You're busy as ever.
Tell you the
Okay.
chat on YouTube and Facebook is popping.
Oh,
Is it? We'll
Shout out
read
to
them
everybody
later.
watching.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So Kate, how do you know Raya and the memorial and all that? I don't think I know that.
So I worked hard towards a master's degree during COVID online. It was my COVID project. And my master's thesis was on Rosie the Riveter. So I made a website for students and teachers to use. And so I just kind of became obsessed and didn't want to let it go. So I Googled Rosie the Riveter about every month. And that's when I found a news clip with Raya. And I did this super weird thing of Googling her name and emailed her and said, "Can I buy you dinner?" And just became really inspired by her mission as a teacher to have a project that you started in school turn into a real thing and make a real change in the government that represents women was just so inspiring to me. So I've been working to try to raise money here and there wherever I can for the foundation because I think it's just an incredible message.
well, Katie, did you know Raya before the Congressional Gold Medal?
I had bought her dinner one time, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mhm.
And I would like to say that I'm equally inspired by you and your passion and the way that you educate your students and really highlight hands-on work in the way that you do. I think it's just phenomenal, and it is so fun to sit down at a table across from a woman like that who shares in the same legacy I do. I just think that's like the most beautiful thing about all of this Rosie recognition that we've been working towards is that it brings together a really beautiful community of people. So grateful to have met all of you, truly.
I'm amazed with how you speak. What a good speaker you are, Raya. I mean, you're so natural with what you do.
Thank you.
Katie, I call him
Thank
our
you.
new and shining star. That's what I call her.
I hope I can live up to it. It's
Well,
coming
you
after
already
you.
are.
It's a
You
hard
already
act to
are.
follow.
You've been above and beyond what a young girl. Katie, when she first did this, she wrote to me when she was in the 5th grade, and I just ignored it. I said, "Oh, she'll forget that. She's a kid. She'll forget that in a week or two." Look at what she's done. Look what she's done.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. You can't stop once you've started.
And I love with Katie too, the way you are with your students.
Oh,
I mean,
thank
I
you.
just think that's amazing. You really encourage these younger people, and I think that's so nice.
Yeah, we've done 2 Zooms with your classes so far.
Mhm.
Tell us the story of the young woman who, because of Mae, decided what she was going to do in college.
So that's Ava, and Ava is the daughter of one of my colleagues. Ava can't be told no. She'll probably listen to this at some point. And she Zoomed. She was in the first Zoom with Mae, and after hearing about what Mae did, she decided that she wanted to go to Virginia Tech and major in constructional engineering. And when her dad, who's a math teacher, said, you know, that's a male-dominated profession, she said, yeah, Dad, I know, but I met a Rosie the Riveter, so I can do anything. And
Well, you know, it's amazing. I get invited to trade schools too. I've been to a big one not too long ago in Philadelphia. And it's just wonderful to watch what these women are doing and what they want to learn. And then I get one of them, one young as a welder, and she does catalytic converters. And I'm with her every once in a while. And I just love to see what these young people do. You know, these aren't necessarily men's jobs. If you like it, her grandfather told me that she's very creative with that torch. And I think that's nice. I mean, it's just isn't a tool to be used just for working, you know, in the factory or something. But I guess she did some beautiful work with it. That's what I like. You young people aren't afraid to reach out and try things, and that's so amazing. I just love that.
And let me say a little story for me with Mae. In 2019, I lost a job, and it was very painful, and it was an awful thing. And that was when I had met Mae in 2018, and then she decides, oh, I'm going to make masks for, you know, Dave talks to her about the masks. She decides she wants to make masks for the pandemic, which started our journey of 5,000 masks. And with the help, we had help from companies and from people who helped us with the masks. But Mae herself, she did a good 5,000 herself, because even after that started, she would do groups of 400 at a time. Okay. So anyway, you know, Mae saved me. She helped save me during a difficult time. And now here we are.
You're saving me. It was so cute because I met Deb at Valley Forge, where we did programs at Valley Forge, and it was wonderful. I remember this lady coming around the corner one day with the most prettiest smile, and that's when I met Deb. And when I started making the mask, I got this call from her, and she says, Mae, can I help you? She had no idea what she was getting into. I worked her fingers to the bone.
I certainly used my organizational skills.
Yeah, it's like I can't even describe what it's done for you. Look at how you're working for the politicians and all the people. It brought your life full circle around. It's wonderful. Isn't it nice when we can, we don't even have to plan these things. They just happen. And I think it's amazing.
So Kate, we want to thank you because you are the acknowledgments in the book. Kate is the history teacher from Woodgrove High School. And we want to thank you for doing that and allowing us to use the picture for the Zoom classes. We appreciate it. Look forward to our next Zoom with you.
It is my absolute honor to be any small part in this. What you were talking about earlier with the idea of having these, we were talking about the idea of these books in libraries. I mean, my students know who Henry Box Brown is, who's a man who shipped himself out of slavery in a box. They know that super niche story because it was in a children's book published about 7-8 years ago. And now they're in high school and they know that story. So I'm going to make sure that every single one of my local libraries has this book, and kids are going to know Mae's story. And that's huge. You know, that's how you change the perception of learning about all history and all sacrifice is making sure that you're reaching kids. So if anybody is willing to buy a copy of this book and donate it to their local library, even if you don't have a child particularly in your life, I think that that's a great way to help remember women and their sacrifices, and also remember our veterans as well.
Excellent.
Okay, you teachers plant a seed, and you don't realize whether it'll grow, whether it won't. But I can remember in school how I don't even remember the teacher, but I can remember her talking about the travels, like in Rome, and the farm in Rome, the windmills in Holland. That never left me. And of course, that's the Great Depression. We never imagined in our wildest dream that we'd ever get to see them. And when I went to Europe, I've been there several times, I was just absolutely stunned to think that I finally got to see all those things I dreamed about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Katie, very much, Kate, for being with us.
Yeah, of course.
We'll see in the green room, and we're going to keep Raya, and we're going to bring Dave back.
Thank you, Katie. Hi,
you,
Raya. You know, Raya, I wish your mother could have been there. Deb tells me she couldn't, but that would have been nice. Hi, Dave.
Hey, everybody.
We're back.
This portion, we'd like each of you to tell us, we'll start with Dave, tell us about your nonprofit, what you do, because the proceeds from this book, it's going to be split evenly between both organizations that Mae loves.
Could I ask Dave a question first? Dave, when you handed me out the donation that I was to give to Raya at the program of the night before, explain that. I wasn't sure what that was. You earned that money to give to Raya's program.
So so what I noticed about you, Mae, is your heart was to help Raya, and your heart was to help get this monument built. That stuck with me. So you kept coming to me and said, how can I raise money for Raya's memorial? I said, well, I do a lot of vignettes with historical items. So I bought a couple of the First Strike coins. You gave me some bandanas and some other things. I put it in a beautiful vignette, and I auctioned it off. And we raised $2,500, and I was able to give Raya that check at the special dinner we had for you on this past Friday. So that I know that was important. So when I wrote the book, that was something I wanted to do too. So I contacted Raya, said, hey, how about if we do a 50-50 split between our nonprofits with the net proceeds from Amazon? And she said, well, that's not fair. I didn't do anything. I said, oh no, it's fair, because Mae's heart is for you, and she loves veterans too. And she knows what we do. And that's a great segue into what we do. So first of all, my name's Dave Winters. I'm retired Air Force. I'm an old guy, not as old as Mae, but I'm old.
How old are you?
I'll be 67 in February.
Oh, I'm older than you. Oh, wow.
So I retired from the Air Force
Got
in
a child here with us. A little sweetheart. Oh, go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. She is a sweetheart. So Mia, and she's almost 7 months old. So I was so lucky because I was holding her. She got to spit up all over my jacket while I was there. But that's the life of a grandparent. You got to take the good and the bad.
I know. I seen that picture of you. What love that was with you with that little baby on you. That was so cute.
I love babies.
That's a good story.
And I have 5 grandbabies, and they're beautiful. All of them, from 20 to 7 months.
Yeah, right.
So retired from the Air Force in 1999, and then I was working for United States Special Operations Command. I am not a special operator, but I was able to work there for 28 years total, 2 active duty, 4 as a contractor, and then 22 years as a government civil servant. Well, our special operators, we have about 70,000. I started seeing after the war kicked off, 9/11, the war kicked off, and our folks were in there in October. October 2001, right after 9/11, our folks were there. In fact, one of the auction items was some brass from a bullet casing that was when a friend of mine went into the Taliban White House, and they left I Love New York stickers all over their headquarters in Afghanistan. So get to meet a lot of the neat people, but we also retain, a lot of folks don't realize, we have some people that, just like the guest speaker, Lieutenant Governor of Florida, Jay Collins, I don't know if you realize, he's a double amputee. And he was a Green Beret, and he stayed active duty after his amputations and deployed. So that's Mae and Governor Collins right there. That's her son Gabriel over to the right. But a lot of folks don't realize that special operators stay active duty after the amputations. We actually have a triple amputee that still is serving. So, and we had a blind civil affairs person serving for a while. So they have such investment in these men and women that they don't let them go. So we started a nonprofit in 2012. We hunt, fish, shoot, skydive, and do all kinds of other cool things, not just with veterans. We started working with Gold Star families, and a Gold Star family, someone who's lost a loved one in the war, or just killed in training, like my brother was killed in training in 1975 in South Korea. So we lost my brother. He was 21 years old, and he gave his life to our nation. So we integrate all the Gold Star family members into our activities, and it's such a blessing. And one of the stories Mae told when she was working for Boeing in a factory is during the war, the women, they would know there was a woman in the factory that lost a husband, a father, and they would come in the next day and still work. And Mae said, they said, you don't have to come in, you just lost somebody. They said, we don't want more to be lost. We're going to continue to work in the factories. That touched my heart really deep. And because I'm a Gold Star, brother, and I know that's just, and you got to meet Craig and Tony Gross at the event on Friday night, and their Gold Star parents, and their son was killed in Afghanistan, and he was 21 years old. And they say it's the most exclusive club that no one wants to be a part of. So being a Gold Star family member and being Gold Star family is something that no one wishes on anyone, but there are out there. We just know that young lady that just lost her life in Washington, D.C. I think her name was Sarah. I can't remember her last name, but she was from West Virginia. And she just lost her life, and that's a new Gold Star family. So we honor them.
Well, thank you for your
Yeah,
service.
Dave, when I'm at the honor flight, they always ask me to place a rose on the table of the missing in action. We kind of forgetting all of those that are missing in action. I said, that's kind of sad.
There's still a lot missing. And I work with a nonprofit that goes over to different countries and scuba dives and looks for their remains.
Really?
Wow. Well, thank you, Dave. Now, Raya, you tell us about what you started in 5th grade.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this story. In 5th grade, I was assigned a school project to build a model monument to a group of people, something that had yet to be recognized in Washington, D.C. And being in 5th grade, I had just watched the incredible movie A League of Their Own, Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, the film about the women baseball players, and I could just feel my heart pounding. I got so excited to see, women doing something that was originally a man's job. And little old me was like, all right, what else did these women do? I mean, they were baseball players, but what else? And so I dived into my research, and I learned that women in the 1940s broke into over 80 new workforce industries for the first time that previously had not been touched by a woman. It would have been unheard of. And there were over 18 million civilian women who did this work during the war, this crucial work that kept our country going, and also supplied the troops abroad. And then, to me, most importantly, shaped the workforce and the world that I get to live in now as a 23-year-old person. And my gratitude was unbounded. So I built this sort of scrappy, amazing, homemade thing, this model of this memorial. I showed it to my teacher, and she said, Raya, you should really try to get this built. And I think going back to what Kate was saying earlier, I think the power of teachers can never, ever be underestimated, because even if she didn't really think I was going to do it, I did. And her guidance and leadership there has really been one of the most foundational aspects of this project. And so I reached out to my congressperson. I said, hey, I have this idea for a memorial. Would you want to help me? And luckily enough, she did. And so we've been on this over 13-year-long journey at this point. We have legislation passed that allows us to build in Washington, D.C. And just yesterday, our second piece of legislation was passed that will allow us to build on or nearby to the National Mall. So
That's
it's been
excellent.
very culminative and really, really wonderful.
Wonderful, Matt. Oh, that
And
was
yeah, it's just been amazing. And Mae has been the shining light throughout the project. I remember you showed the picture when we just sat down in her living room or her dining room table, and we chatted about your life story, Mae. And I just remember being like, this is like meeting Taylor Swift. This is my favorite celebrity and my best friend. So thank you for all of your constant encouragement.
Well, you're certainly easy to work with, Ryan. And I just love. I think anything we can do to get that monument built. Now, tell the public more about what you need. I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So fundraising is something we're focused on, which I think is a perfect conversation given this amazing book that Dave Winters has just published about your story. As we mentioned, we're splitting it 50-50 those proceeds. And so not only fundraising, but also education. And I think this beautifully marries the two concepts because we're able to get your story out to the younger generations who might not have heard of the Rosies yet and ensure that they're being properly educated on the contributions of women. And so while we focus on fundraising and education, I'll also be working on lobbying in the Senate. There's a whole host of things that I'm working on and would love support on. But like I always say, one of the most beautiful things about this project is it's consistently been something that's brought everyone together across political aisles, across the United States. People from all different backgrounds have come together for it. So I'm so grateful and humbled by the community that's been built around honoring you.
Now tell us how much you have to make. How much do you have to raise?
Yeah.
We're thinking around $14 to $15 million total, including the construction and the maintenance of the land that we'll need. All of this is going to be raised privately. No government funds are allowed, and that's pretty common for memorials. And so we're focused on garnering support from women's groups and companies like Boeing, who employed women during the war, defense industries, or anyone who agrees that honoring history and maintaining history for the rest of time is paramount to understanding what it means to be in this country.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You've got a tough road to hoe.
No, don't say that. I would say it's a road of many lessons to be learned.
You can tell that's an old expression, couldn't you?
Dave, tell us about the quilt that's behind Raya and what happened. This quilt right here.
So we get to work with a lot of great nonprofits, and we work with a group of women, and they work for a foundation or a nonprofit called Quilts of Valor, and they do come to our events, and they make quilts, sometimes 30 quilts, and we have the veterans or the Gold Star family members come up, and they wrap them in there, and they hug them. It's so significant. I watched one time when a Vietnam veteran came up and they wrapped the quilt around them, and you could see the sigh that he had, that he was finally being recognized properly, just like the Rosies weren't recognized. And I had the opportunity and the blessing to call Raya and Mae up. And Mae said that she's turning 100. She says it's about time the 23-year-old had the torch and is going to carry the torch. So we had a little formal ceremony, being a military guy, and we had the passing of the torch. And I wrapped both Raya and Mae in the quilt. And I said, Raya, it's your job now. You got to carry on the tradition. You got to carry on the mission that Mae has. Mae's heart is to raise this. Now, what I know of Mae is that she wanted, if she could sew 1 million bandanas and sell them for $17 a piece, she would sew 1 million bandanas to make that monument. So with the book, what's nice is for every book that is sold on Amazon, Raya and I make $7.79. $7.79 doesn't seem a lot. And as of today, I'm going to just jump over. We've made $630.99 since Saturday. So what we need people to do is to buy one book, to do a review, and give us a 5-star review, because Mae is a 5-star champion. And I think the book is written well. It's a story that needs to be told. And then Raya and I will benefit. So I told Raya our first goal is 5,000 books. That will give both nonprofits about $20,000. But I'd like to see 1 million books sold. And so everyone who's listening, everyone who watches this, you're going to be a Rosie out there. The torch is being passed to you. Get out there, buy a book, share the book, tell the story, tell Mae's story. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the Power Up, because we can do it. We can build that monument. We can help veterans, just like the veterans we help. I don't know if you noticed the ones that were at the event. We had Joel Tavara at 21 years old, burnt 60% of his body. He's had 150 surgeries. He's blind. He's a single amputee. But 2 years ago, we sent him to Africa to hunt a 12-foot crocodile. So, and then you saw Romy Camargo, Green Beret, 1 sniper round in the back of the neck, severed his spinal cord, quadriplegic. And he gives back. He has a spinal cord injury unit, and his wife, it's called Stay in Step Spinal Cord Injury Unit, and they're still giving back. So buying this book helps so many people.
But don't forget, I'm only one Rosie out of the 18 million. This is not just for me. This is for all Rosies.
To honor all of them, to my grandmother Agnes, to Deb's mom, all the moms out there, all the grandmothers and great grandmothers. You know, we just honor them by doing this.
David, go ahead, Deb.
All right. Well, listen, thank you both. We're going to wrap it up. We'll talk to you on the other side. Everybody, We Can Do It is on Amazon, or contact your local bookstore to order it. On Amazon, just search Mae Krier. You'll go right to the page. Mae, what are your final thoughts? And this is like our end of the year podcast as we look forward to 2026, and you turn in 100 in March.
Yeah, you know, and they give me a hard time. I always say to them, wait till you get to be 100. They always say I'll never make it.
You know, no. I gotta tell this story because you don't mind.
No,
but about 5 years ago, Mae said, you know, I got to make it to 100 because I have to live longer than the warranty on my mattress. So that's the next goal is for Mae to hit 100. We were like, she's got to see the gold medal, and then she's got to get to Tampa, and now it's March 21st, 100, and then we're going to have a big party on here when you do.
And Ray is going to benefit from that. Her program is going to benefit from that. But absolutely. You know, you asked me about it. I'm absolutely amazed how the people have been so good to me. But what they're doing for Rosa the Riveter and the women, and what they're doing for Ryan, I just it's mind-boggling, because, like I said, since I come home from Tampa, I just keep thinking of one, I think of another. I just this constant that how wonderful American people are. You don't realize that until you and I got so involved with that mask making. We knew how wonderful these American women were, because we got all kinds of letters from every walk of life. And we treasured that, didn't we, Deb?
We did. We absolutely did. And we need, if anybody out there is with a national news organization or newspaper, get in touch through Honor Rosie, DM me, because we really want this to go national so the rest of the country can learn about this book and they can purchase it, and we can help Raya and Dave even more. Are you first?
Where's Brandy? We got to thank her.
Brandy, come back.
Yes.
She'll be here. There she is. Hello.
Here you are. Brandy, I just want to thank you. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing these podcasts. And thank you. Thank you for that. And I would have never drove a tank.
That's right. There you go. There's the tank.
And some
But
people
absolutely
really
better.
think I drove a Sherman tank, but I did. You're witness to it, right?
Yep.
And this is our team right here.
Right? Yeah, that's the
Mae-
four of us.
Mae is the 99-year-old influencer.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
When I've been invited to so many people have gotten a hold of me, wanting to know what they could do for my birthday and what have you, and I said, just wait till I get there first.
That's right. Then we'll have a whole thing around that. We will. But anyway,
I just hope this program promotes the book, not necessarily for me, but for what it's going to do for our Raya's program, her program, and getting our memorial finished before, like I told him that at the party. I want to finish before I meet my maker.
Well, we're going to try to do that.
It's going to happen.
So as we always end the podcast, everybody, first of all, have a happy holiday, everyone, and be kind to one another. And buy a book. Best book you're going to see. Great Christmas gift, Hanukkah gift, whatever kind of gift you want. And Brandy's with us, so Brandy can power up with us, Mae. Are you ready to power up?
Ready?
Ready? We can do it.
Do it.
Thanks, everybody. It's wonderful the way you've responded to all of this, and I thank you for all of those. You two right here, what you've done, that's amazing, and I thank you so much.
Well, we're kind of fond of you, Mae.
Yeah.
I'm kind of love you too.
We kind of love you.
Yeah, I always believe in supporting the behaviors that need to be supported.
There you go. There you go. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Have a great holiday. We'll see you in 2026. More podcasts.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.